a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning.
Good morning, everyone, to all of yours on our varying platforms, Facebook, YouTube, and 102 on Amplia. It's a great morning to be alive. I know that some of us may still be dragging from the weekend because I know it was very exciting, but we are here this morning and we give God thanks, of course. We are also very excited for our show here this morning on Tobago Updates. We have a few exciting interviews to go through, and we hope that you stay with us through it all. But before we continue, let's have our news in 90 seconds by Miss Biana Brepner.
Thank you, Natalia. Here is your news in 90 seconds for Tuesday, October 29th, 2024. Minister of Tourism, Culture, the Arts, Randall Mitchell, praised the Tobago October Carnival for its significant growth and positive impact on the island's tourism industry. He emphasized the strong economic benefits reported by hoteliers. Mitchell also commended the Carnival's vibrant atmosphere, noting its continuous development and increasing success. Meanwhile, Tobago October Carnival Association President Dexter Sandy also praised the event's success, noting smooth travel and happy hoteliers. The three-day carnival concluded with a grand parade of the bands. Up next, the Monarchs of Mass competition, a new event for the Tobago October Carnival, showcased the creativity of Tobago's mass designers, with several performing their own costumes. Presentation included Dwayne White Jr., fire-breathing portrayal of the First Man, and Marcus Devine's skeleton theme, Return of the King. The event featured 8 participants celebrating both traditional carnival elements and Tobago's heritage. Memorable entries including the rebellious Yard Fowl, the Pan Man, and Sea Empress of Coral Reef Coast. The mighty Moko also impressed by a dancing on a single stilt. And finally, 4 Trinidadians were sentenced in St. Vincent on October 25th for marijuana-related offenses and ordered to pay fines of EC $25,000 each or serve 1 year in prison. The men Damian Batiste, Shaquem Bola, Isaiah Phillips, and Jaron Abraham were arrested on October 3rd with 240 pounds of marijuana. The 4 men went to St. Vincent to learn marijuana cultivation and stayed for 8 months. The group pleaded guilty with an explanation, stating they had met a local man online who invited them to learn how to plant cannabis. Following court proceedings, the Trinidadians quarreled over food as they were transported to prison. And that was your news in 90 seconds.
Thank you, Biano, for that news in 90 seconds. I think we're going into our favorite segment normally, Biana. So before, we get into how our weekend was, because I really do want to hear it from your perspective.
Yes.
Let's go straight into our birthdays for this morning. First up, we have Miss Nicole James. A happy birthday to you. I know the festivities over the weekend might have been a lot, and now we're just going into more birthday festivities throughout the week. So happy birthday to you, and I really do hope you enjoy your day. Next up, we have Miss Kanika Murray. Happy birthday to you and blessings to you on your day. I really do hope you enjoy the entirety of it. Miss Little Fia Peters, happy birthday to you. You might have to go to school today, but I hope a teacher buys you cake, and I hope one of your friends buys you snacks, and that you enjoy the whole day. And last but not least, we have Miss Kia Peters, her belated birthday today. I really hope you enjoyed your birthday and continue to do so, because there's a trend that is starting where people prolong their birthdays, and I really do hope you are one of them and you enjoy the entirety of it. And that was all for birthdays this morning. Now for the big question for Biana that I'm very excited to hear. How was your weekend, Biana?
Natalia, it was an awesome weekend of observation, yeah?
Yeah. All right. So, and how was, so I just want to touch on the traffic situation during Carnival.
All right.
How was that for you?
Well, it did not affect me in any way, It really didn't affect me in any way.
Well, it affected me a little bit, you know, because there's some traveling from country to West Side, and it's like, you know, that transition, the extra driving to Spring Garden, you really had to see the capabilities of some drivers during the weekend, right? But I didn't hear about much major accidents, so I'm happy that, you know, we still drive safely on our island.
So how was your weekend?
As you said, it was a weekend of observation, right? So I do join you on that. In terms of overall observation on social media, what I saw is that the weekend was a very enjoyable one for our island, a very
successful one.
Very successful. Yeah, a lot of positive comments. I saw nothing negative on social media, and that, to me, that is a first.
I also saw a proposal as well on social media during the Carnival festivity.
During the festivity itself?
Yes.
That's very exciting, right? Did the person say yes? Did they pick up on that answer?
Yes, they did.
Yeah, because it would have been a bit shaky, you know, in that big festivity.
Yes.
Ooh.
But, you know, kudos to the band leaders as well as all the other organized stakeholders, you know, of the Carnival celebrations. And, you know, I know the Tobago population probably is waiting on the post-mortem, you know, of the overall event, the 3-day celebrations, yeah?
Yes, they are. I think a few Trinidadians may be waiting on it as well, in anticipation, because I saw a bit of them did come over and enjoy the festivities with us. And as one country, I'm happy that both islands can share in that Carnival experience.
Right. And I also hope that, you know, on the ground you were hearing that Caribbean Airlines is not doing Tobago justice. I hope that, you know, persons take the initiative to book earlier in advance, as well as for Carl to do something for Tobago, you know, in that October period for the Carnival.
Yes, I do agree, because I think the sea bridge would have increased on their travels to increase the amount of people that can traverse between both islands, and it would be nice to have the air bridge on board in terms of that, based on the comments that I've been seeing.
So we await the post-mortem.
Yes, we really do. Yes, I await it with you as well. All right, so I think that is it for your weekend, B?
Yes, Natalia.
Yes, okay. All right, so I'll just take our viewers into our rundown for this morning. Again, very exciting stuff that we are looking forward to. I know that the Carnival weekend was an exciting one, and we do continue with Carnival conversations post-Carnival. So we'll be very delighted to have the president of TOCA, that is the Tobago October Carnival Association. I had to get that right? The president of the Tobago October Carnival Association, Mr. Dexter Sandy, coming to speak to us about the Tobago Carnival experience for 2024 and a few projections that we can look forward to for 2025. And last but not least, we'll have Mr. Keegan Denoon and Mr. Jason Caesar, the directors of the Lambo Credit Union, who will come to speak to us about a few promotions that we can look forward to as we go from our Carnival season into our Christmas season. So we look forward to seeing all of that this morning. But before I go, I want to encourage you all to share the live. We'll be right back.
Tobago Carnival is just around the corner, and Bethel Credit Union has you covered. Whether you're prepping for costumes, parties, giveaways, or a staycation, it's all within your reach with our Carnival loan sale. For as little as $900 a month, yes, $900 a month, you can get the funds you need to make this Carnival season unforgettable. At Bethel Credit Union, we're here to make your celebration dreams a reality. Visit us today or call 639-8226 for more information. Normal lending criteria applies, because we see you at BCU.
Hey, the biggest and sexy.
Now here what's going on. You see this section? It makes me feel.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
And standard listen, the TGIS sale is back up to 75% off store-wide. Washers from $1,249. Stoves from $1,299. Fridges from $1,999. Patio set from $1,999 and up to 35% off Samsung and LG TVs. Plus, a daily magic hour with even more savings. Follow standards on social media for the inside scoop October 25th to the 30th only.
Put a smile on your face.
And we are back here on Tobago Updates, live here from Port Mall in Scarborough, Tobago. We have with us this morning President of the Tobago October Carnival Association, Mr. Dexter Sandy. Good morning to you, Mr. Sandy.
Good morning to you and good morning to all your viewers.
Right. So I know you normally hear this big excitement coming from Mr. Sandy when he comes onto the screen. But, you know, it was an exciting weekend, and into this morning, his face is a bit, you know, on the restful side of things, right? But nonetheless, he is happy to be here with you this morning. I'm happy to have him here, you know, just to speak about the Carnival experience over the weekend. We know it was a very big weekend for Tobago. I know we normally have the February Carnival that happens between both islands, but October Carnival is a Tobago Carnival, yes. Right? So we're here to speak about our Tobago Carnival here this morning. So what was the overall experience like for you? Because I'm hearing conversations about you actually being a part of a band, you know, taking part in the Carnival experience itself. So how was the overall experience for you?
So the overall experience for me personally, I was really excited to participate in the Carnival on a whole. Mm-hmm. I mean, from Wednesday night, there was the Soca Titans across the Carnival City there.
Yes.
And I would have been there from the beginning, the first performance with Castor Cupid. And just seeing Castor on stage and what he presented, it said to me that Tobago Soca is in good hands.
Yes.
Right? Iconic Mass, we would have supported Castor with his production And then we saw the other contestants and we saw who came out on top. And when you look at that stage performance and the quality of the event on a whole, it signaled that Tobago is heading in the right direction when it comes to soca. We moved into Thursday. There was a calypso competition at Magdalena. Personally, I wasn't able to attend, but good feedback. I was in the band house selling costumes, distributing costumes right up until Saturday, Juve morning. But the Carnival, the mass competition that was held on Friday night, I heard that it was well executed. The Mother's Life camp, I spoke to those guys Saturday morning and they said, listen, it was the first time they did it pre-Juve and it worked well, right? I don't know if it's something that they will continue to practice, but it worked well and it flowed straight into Juve morning. Yeah, Juve morning, we had a slight delay in start and it's about 1 hour. But I must say, once we hit the road, the masqueraders really enjoyed it. The spectators, we had a lot more spectators along the route, especially in Lower Scarborough. So it spoke to the volume of people that really believe in the Tobago Carnival and that we are going well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the delay. I just want to say that normally when I plan big programs or I'm involved in it, that delay gives the juices to start flowing, to get the people to get ready to, do what they have to do. And in this case, chip on the road, if so to speak. Yeah. So, I mean, yes, that delay might have happened, but I think overall, I have never been on social media and see so much positive comments about one event, right? And it came from across the board. It came from visitors to the island. It came from Tobagonians themselves, seeing the participation of both islands in the thing overall. There was just positivity all around, and I'm really happy to hear that the weekend was a success. So how many bands participated in Carnival itself?
So what would have been registered would have been 21 bands for Sunday, which is the traditional and the contemporary mass. For Juve, there was about 33 bands registered, and night mass was supposed to be 12, right? I can't confirm that all would have showed up, but I know for the Toka members, they would have showed up on the road. Not all the bands on the Toka. But definitely for the bands that did show up, they did enjoy themselves. In any activity, there would be surprises. And I think the band leaders, they really responded well to any challenges that they had. And when I spoke with them on the road one-on-one, they were really happy, right? That all the hard work has paid off. And just looking back at the footage, Tobago really looked well.
Yes, yes. Yeah. And in terms of the contrast between last year and this year, in terms of band participation and overall attendance of the Carnival sessions, what would you say was the improvement, or what would you like to see improved?
Definitely one thing that we asked for very early would have been a stage.
Yes.
So this year we got what was called a staging area at Market Square. They branded it, called it the Carnival City. It was well decorated and it was a designated area, which was bigger than, I would say, the stage by the sea, for the masqueraders to really cross and showcase themselves.
Yes.
October Carnival Mass has nothing related to competition, and we prefer to keep it that way when it comes to mass now.
Fun
it's just fun. It's display of your theme for the year, and really sell the tourism of the Carnival and the Tobago. Yeah. So we were glad that we did have the staging area. There would have been some additions that were made to the road. We had CO2, we had stations with confetti, so as a band crossed that area, you could really see that the masqueraders enjoyed the element that was added there. And at the close of play on Sunday night, there was a fireworks display, right? So that added to really a finale of the road experience for the masqueraders and also the spectators.
Yes.
I mean, for us as masqueraders, we were fortunate. A few bands would have been at the after party at Shore Park, and the rain came down, right? Hence my horse through this morning. We were out in the showers there, but it was really just a release to say, listen, we really enjoyed the road. And at this point in time, Tobago, yes, you get 100%, you get 100 out of 100. Next year, masqueraders have signaled that they will be returning and with friends.
Well, in terms of the rain, I think Tobago has proved itself in terms of rain and fets that the only thing that rain really stops is cricket, right? So yes, the rain came down and you do have a horse shoot, but that just proves that you were there despite the odds, right? Just like every other Tobagonian for the after party, and I see that it was an enjoyable experience
yes, it was.
overall. All right. So before the carnival season, or within the carnival season as it had started, you mentioned that we needed to increase the security on the island. And this was a very big concern because you know that the crime on the island itself has increased exponentially, I would say. Yeah. So in terms of like our fetes that we take part in and these type of things, what was the security like in your opinion? Was it adequate enough security for the season?
So definitely before the season, there was an upsurge, an increase in serious crimes. And I know that through ACP Hazel's leadership, while she was still attached to Tobago, we started the conversation across all the stakeholders. And the ACP Suberu came on board and he continued the meetings as well with ACP Hazel. Just planning what will be done to ensure that we understand that there will be additional security on the island and the measures that are going to be put in place to ensure Carnival would be safe. And so said, so done. Yes. Carnival was safe. We did see the patrols of the police on the streets.
Yes.
In and around Scarborough and environs. They already managed the traffic flow for masqueraders to get to come into the route and be able to participate, even the spectators. Everything was really well organized and it came from the planning. And I must say kudos to them for really initiating that very early. But I know all masqueraders felt safe. Nobody felt at risk. Even Juve morning, which has sort of a stigma for that higher risk. Juve morning was excellent. A lot of people said this was the best Juve they've ever attended, right? So it speaks to everybody playing their part, and we all won at the end.
Okay, and I must put in there that a lot of people were saying that Tobago actually had one of the safest carnivals that they've ever attended. So I think in terms, adding to your comments that you would have mentioned about, the plans and the preparations put in place for security, I think that it was well done from the public's point of view. It was a well done security team. Yeah, I did see the patrols on the highway myself. Some people weren't too happy to be passing through Spring Garden, but it was the best thing for the safety of all carnival participants and everything like that, right? So one more question before we go to our short break. What are your thoughts on the travel plans that were set in place by the Sea Bridge and the Air Bridge? And do you think that the increase on the Sea Bridge had a significant impact on who can attend the carnival?
Well, definitely what the Port Authority pledged, they delivered.
Yes.
Right? They pledged that from the Thursday, we would see 4 sailings per day. And that worked well. I would tell you on Wednesday, my band had a challenge. Sorry, on Tuesday, my band had a challenge. And we really need to get some stuff across Wednesday morning. Wednesday is the day that the Port Authority does not have a sailing from Port of Spain to Tobago. Probably next year we could look at it, and we do have that sailing the Wednesday morning. But outside of that, they would have delivered on all the additional sailings. I know a lot of people took advantage of it, and they got to the island of Tobago, and we saw it on the streets, right? The Hoteliers Association, this morning they are boasting, right? The villas, the townhouses, most of the hotel room stock, everything was well patronized, right? So I must say that the inter-island ferry worked. With regards to Caribbean Airlines, the airport would have been swamped over the days of Thursday, Friday, right? And it speaks to the demand to get to the island. Even though they would have put on additional flights, clearly there is a demand for more persons to be able to come across to the island. So I'm really hoping that next year, when the new terminal opens, it allows for more carriers to be able to move persons to the island. Not necessarily that for the foreigner that they have to go through Port of Spain, but they can now land directly here in Tobago.
Right. Lovely. So I love how Mr. Sandy just brought us into what we might be able to expect for next year. All right, before we take a short break, I'd like to tell you what is coming up next, and those are the Carnival projections for 2025. So maybe you'll hear it here first, what we can expect when 2025 turns that corner. So before I go, I just want to encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Put a smile on your face.
So guys, there are some new developments in housing in Tobago. So it's goat racing time. This is 116, the show that keeps you in the know with all things Tobago House of Assembly. Each week, 116 delivers a fun and engaging overview of the latest developments, achievements, activities, and events of our dynamic assembly. So join me. Let's dive into the Tobago House of Assembly's Week in Review right here on 116.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 gigabyte fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning.
At 7:27 this morning here on Tobago Updates, we are back and we are continuing in this discussion on our carnival, I would say carnival preparations for 2025. So, I mean, if you unfortunately missed out Carnival 2024, Mr. Sandy is promising a 2025 Carnival experience that we can look forward to. Improvements, maybe a few additions that we may be able to learn about this morning. So to our viewers that are just joining us on our various platforms, we are here with Mr. Sandy, who is going to take us through our projections for 2025's Carnival, right? So in our previous discussion, you spoke about some improvements that you'd like to see for the 2025 Carnival experience. You mentioned the staging, you mentioned a few things like the marketing and stuff like that. So can you tell us what exactly you'd like to see in terms of improvements for these things?
Well, definitely this year, what we got was a staging, an area designated for the masqueraders to cross, right? But not a physical stage. And I think going into year 4, it will be ideal that we do get the stage, right? This year plans were made and a design structure was done, but I would like to see for 2025 that be implemented. And we do have that physical stage to cross.
Yes.
Because when you look at what transpired at the staging this year, people really enjoyed themselves. But if it is we want to develop the product we call Tobago October Carnival, there are certain key elements that the market is accustomed to, right? Let's make sure that that is there. Even for this year, I did see the Tobago old time wedding, some elements of that would have been introduced at the staging.
Right.
And, persons are saying, what makes Tobago Carnival different from the others? We can't just duplicate the others. My point is that there are some things that we have to do that is commercial type, that is industry standard, that people are accustomed to. You use those items to draw people here. And when you bring now and they're here, you introduce the old time wedding, all those other natural Tobago elements into it. That is what puts the icing on the cake. We can't just market that alone and expect to attract the thousands of visitors.
Yes.
Right? So the physical stage will really play a key role in that. In terms of marketing, we really need to bring the brand awareness on the island much earlier.
Yes.
If you drive down the Carnival Highway, when you swing from Wilson Road going down to Light and Life, that signage that was put up there last week, I really felt proud. I think it was like Wednesday morning or so I saw them up. And I felt proud about that sort of signage being put up. My point is that things like that should be put up months in advance.
Yeah.
July, August is a peak period here for visitors on the island. If they see branding speaking to Tobago Carnival, it is still time for them, one, to look at a band, because most bands would have already launched.
Right.
And two, book accommodation, because accommodation will still be present and will still be available. And it puts them in a position in advance to make preparations to be back here in October by just putting up that sort of branding and making that awareness happen. The activations in Trinidad, we have National Carnival coming up. We really need to hit some main activities and be present there to do some marketing. The regional ones, we will just have to kind of target which ones we want to hit. And I mean, over the years, we will get better at it. But these are things that we need to put in place coming for 2025. And for the Tobagonian who showed up at the band house on Saturday to get a costume for Sunday, I'm saying to you, it's unfair to us, the bands. Some of us could have accommodated you, some of us could not have.
Right.
And we don't really want to see people leaving disappointed. So I'm saying, let's buy in early. The mass bands have the offerings very early. Let's buy in early, make your down payments, because for those who were able to participate, on Sunday when I was walking around with the masqueraders at the rest stop, they were saying thank you, thank you, thank you, because they really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Right? So it's really worth your while. It's really worth the money that you pay for the costume. Tobago's Carnival is one of the most affordable carnivals there is in the world. When you look at the pricing that we set for the costumes, and for what you get for that offering is really affordable. So we're just saying buy in early. That way we could prepare much better for you. So those are some of the things that we would want to see happen when it comes to mass on a whole for 2025. Of course, more ideas are welcome, and there are things that we will work on, and just want that the Festivals Commission, Mr. Kawan and his team, work with us in planning out for 2025.
Right. So we're looking at, we're speaking to the planning and things like that. You mentioned that a lot of people would like to see what makes Tobago Carnival different from the other carnivals that we see. So is there any additional things that we can look forward to that would make Tobago Carnival unique? I mean, you mentioned things like the old time wedding that we saw in the Carnival experience. So what exactly, or not exactly, but give me something precise as to what we can look forward to in 2025 in terms of a unique Carnival experience for Tobago.
It's not something that I could put my finger on just yet. And it's one of those things that, we really have to speak with the elders.
Yes.
And get their perspective, because they're the historians. They're the ones who would have been participating in Carnival when it was just National Carnival alone. And they're the ones who would have been participating in heritage and those activities. So listening to them and getting the concepts from them and trying to modernize it, because you really have to, in marketing it, you have to really sell it in a modern way for the persons on the outside when they see it on social media to say, you know what, yes, I want to do that when I get to Tobago. One unique thing I saw on Saturday afternoon, I was going down Strawberry Local Road, and I saw Mr. Hosford had a goat race track set up.
Yes.
And they had goat racing. So another unique thing that is to Tobago, that is something that happened during the weekend, and bringing some of that exposure to the market. If it is we had said to the bands, listen, we have this thing set up, if it is each band, make sure from your visitors, let's find a way to incorporate them to get that experience. Yeah, those are some of the things that we just need to do so that when persons do come on the island and they enroll for mass, but there are other elements that we can add to it so that when they leave here the Monday or the Tuesday, they could say, yes, Tobago was really an experience. I didn't just buy a costume and end up on the road. You know, it was more, I engaged in a lot more during the carnival.
I think some of those activities were very much attention grabbing because you mentioned the goat track, right? And I'm being honest, I was a passerby. I passed later on in the afternoon when it was getting a bit dark. You know, it's getting dark earlier these days. And I'm seeing goats just pile up at the side of the road with tags on their ears. And people are in there judging goats. And I'm like, what is happening? Now that you mentioned, there was a goat track set up during the weekend and it really did bring a crowd. If people were like me who were passing and, you know, what's going on with these goats kind of thinking, they probably would have stopped and taken in the whole show itself. So we're looking at things that are very unique to Tobago. We normally have, you know, a normal goat race, but we saw this happen over the carnival weekend. Right. So aside from the carnival experience itself, you have some of the things that are just Tobagonian that are happening on that weekend. Okay. In terms of now, you're speaking to your team now, right? In some light, we buff the marketing and we buff some of the improvements that we'd like to see in terms of staging and stuff. Now, in speaking to your team, what are some improvements you'd like to see from your team itself? Your stakeholders, you know, those planning the programs and stuff like this. What would you like to see?
So with regards to the bands, as we're leading up to the carnival, registration would have rolled out and we'd have seen where bands would have registered from small, medium, and large. And on the day on the road, I saw some bands, and you're registered as a band, but your numbers were really small, 20, 30. And yes, we would have put the bands, well, Festival Commission would have arranged the clusters. So it's a group of bands behind one single music truck. What I'm really hoping is that these bands that were clustered, that these band leaders will now work together. And the possibility can exist where they form one band, but they are now different sections. So they still maintain their identity in this one band. And I think if we do that and we pool the resources together, there will be less of a dependency on the state. I really want to encourage the bands to try their best to pool resources together. And I think when we pool the resources together, the sponsors, the corporate sponsors will see that.
Yes.
And they will buy into us a lot more and earlier in the game. Right? So it's one of the things that for me personally I would like to see happen rather than we wait until for Festivals Commission to say to us, well, we need to cluster you and this is what they're gonna this is the cluster that they're gonna be put into, and then sometimes we don't like the cluster that we are aligned to. Right? Some of the feedback I got from some band leaders. So I'm saying let's take front. Let's use the cluster system to create bands, right? So that when we present band Roxborough, it is really a combination of 7 bands, which is from the prior year, but it's now 7 sections. And we create this band called Roxborough. Just using it as an example, right? And that we are together on the road and it showcases one band name, different sections. It's possible. It has been done in other parts of the world. It's been done right in Trinidad during National Carnival. So let's take the learnings from there and implement it here. I don't want to say it's a buff, right? But it's really us working on improving what we have. Some advice
on improvements, yes.
Yes, we really have to do that. If it is we want the Tobago Carnival to really grow and elevate, because persons on the outside who are now hearing about it. I remember right after St. Lucia Carnival this year, there was a buzz. People were like, St. Lucia Carnival was really, St. Lucia had all of that because of the kind of content that came out on social media right after. Right now, the social media content coming out of Tobago is a lot.
Yes.
And a lot of persons are sending messages, next year I will be on the road with you guys, right? And these are people who they're expressing that they regretted not coming to Tobago this year. So it's good that we're getting those sort of feedback right now. And it's just to continue to plan for when the people do arrive, that we are able to execute and deliver for the carnival.
Right. I know this is a bit of a big question to end our interview this morning, but you had spoken to the funds that were allocated for the carnival season this year for Tobago. Do you want to see an improvement in the funding next year, or do you think that the funding that we had this year was actually adequate because we're seeing the positivity that came out of the carnival itself?
Yeah, well, all right. So funding on two levels. The bands, or stakeholders rather, would have received funding from the Tobago House of Assembly to really help and assist in producing everything from the promoters, the PAN, the Calypsonians, the mass bands, right? And I know for certain the mass bands, they did express gratitude in receiving the funds that they would have received on the day, and it was really put into their product. You know, I mean, for example, for us at Iconic Mass, what we were able to do is to now offset it against some costume sales and offer to the public at a reduced price. So that went well. When we look at overall funding, I mean, the budget was announced, and I think it was 9 million that was announced as the budget. And persons started to question if that is really the right amount. How much money will ever be enough?
Yes, that's
you
true.
know, one thing is that what the carnival does for Tobago, and this is what we need to look at, it brings in millions of dollars to the economy, right? From estimates is over 20-something million that it brings in. When you look at the amount of persons that arrive on the island and the average spend that they have to spend per day on transport, accommodation, meals, attending events, playing mass, right? You're looking at over 25, I think it was 25 to 27 million that comes into the economy.
So you are seeing that turnover,
Right, so the hoteliers are benefiting, the car rentaliers are benefiting. These are the people you may not necessarily interview or hear speak up, but they are benefiting. There are lots of vendors that would have been on the streets and benefited. And this is the economy of Tobago benefiting, and that is where we need to focus. What do we invest in to make sure that more comes in to the island and that more persons are able to benefit from the business, from the tourism that comes to the island?
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I think we really need to focus. And the October Carnival has proven that in the absence of the jazz, that it brings that level of funds into the economy, and it is a product that needs to stay. Right, and let's continue to work on it and develop it. Let's invest in it. So if it is we're saying that we want Festivals Commission to put a little more funding behind it, it's not just for getting money's sake, but it's really funding to produce something that is bigger, that brings more revenue to the economy of Tobago.
I think you're mentioning what we can do as an island. In terms of the youth, the carnival being there in the absence of jazz, I'm looking at what the jazz can really do in addition to the carnival itself. So I really do look forward to the 2025 on a whole carnival experience, and maybe let's see what jazz brings as well. So thank you, Mr. Dexter Sandy, for being with us here this morning. As I said when I first started, it's always a delight having you here with us. We are looking forward to seeing what your plans and stuff come into fruition for next year, right? I do look forward to that. So thank you once again for being with us here this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Viewers, thank you so much for staying tuned, and you are to stay tuned for what's coming up next. We'll hear a little bit about some promotions for your Christmas season. So I encourage you to share the live, share the live, share the live. We'll be right back.
Relax and Standard listen. The TGIS sale is back. Up to 75% off store-wide. Washers from $1,249. Stoves from $1,299. Fridges from $1,999. Patio set from $1,999 and up to 35% off Samsung and LG TVs. Plus a daily magic hour with even more savings. Follow Standards on social media for the inside scoop. October 25th to the 30th only.
Coconut's Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, buljoil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meats served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Go in, you have to stop it, you have to stop it. Welcome to my kitchen, guys. You have to stop it every night. That's it. That's the intro. Let's do it one more time, right?
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from...
Viewers, and we are back here with our last interview this morning for our morning show on Tobago Updates here at Portmore, Scarborough, coming to you live. We are here in studio with Mr. Jason Caesar, and no stranger to our television screens here at Tobago Updates, Mr. Keegan Denoon. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Right. So I know you all see Keegan in different spheres. This morning, he's here in the Lambo Credit Union sphere, right? He's here as one of the directors, along with Mr. Jason Caesar, another director of the Lambo Credit Union, to just take us through what we can look forward to from the credit union for this season, whether it be Christmas season, a season to go into, your own season where you may need some funds to do different things, all right? And of course, that October to December period, coming down to the end of the year in celebration of making it through another year, I should say. Yeah. So what can we be looking forward to before we get into the details of it? Just give them, like an overview before we get into it.
So I would start, since I'm the shorter one. Lambo Credit Union is celebrating 78 years today. We started in 1946.
Congratulations to you all.
And thank you very much. And just for the public to know, we are the first credit union on the island of Tobago and the second in Trinidad and Tobago. So we really take pride in what we do as a credit union. And we have a series of programs that we have during the course of the year. And Director Denoon will speak to some of those since that he's on the marketing team, and they've been doing an excellent job during the course of this year to boost our image out there and to deal with the different types of clients that we have. And let me rephrase that. At the credit union, we don't deal with clients, we deal with
Shareholders.
Right? And that is the amazing thing about the credit union versus a bank. At the bank, you are a client. At the credit union, you are a shareholder. You own part of this thing. So going forward, we have our annual verse speaking competition. It is on our 28th year this year and is targeted to early childhood, to seniors in the primary school, and that is going to be happening on the 12th in Belgium, and that's the prelims, on the 14th at the Scarborough Library, and the final takes place on the 20th at the Scarborough Library.
So you are kickstarting what we can look forward to in this season, because I know you all have a lot of events that would be happening. Yeah. Now, I really think that he should contribute some of his face to that marketing team, Keegan, because that face is like, you should join Lambo Credit Union.
I totally agree with you. I mean, we have forms here just in case. Are you a member?
No, I'm not a member.
So by the time you finish this interview, you must be a member.
I will think about it.
Lambo is the best credit union for you to join, like one of the most stable organizations in Trinidad and Tobago. 78 years is not a something to be really to look at with a small microscope. Because not a lot of companies have survived 78 years. We have been here since 1946 with a track record of continuous service to our shareholders. This year, we look forward to a very happy shareholder membership when they hear about the dividend that will be giving. We also see a number of strategies that we are coming on board with to target the younger membership as we look at the needs of the population. As Mr. Caesar would have indicated, the marketing team has strategically identified some of the gaps that we see, and we have created some of the loans that we'll be talking about today. One of them is the Elevate loan.
Yes.
So this year, as we celebrate 78 years, this Elevate loan would be used to multiply your dividend by 7.8. So say, for example, you got $1,000. You get $7,800. Yeah, if you get 10,000.
Yeah.
So any amount of dividend that you got this year, you multiply that by 7.8 and we could organize that for you.
I volunteer my service to be the first example of that multiplication of that loan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, $1,000, Keegan personally just pledged to let me see that 7,008 in my account. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
So here at Lambo Credit Union, we are really here for you. And what we recognize is a number of young people, when they want to take a mortgage or a loan, they really don't have any credit rating.
Yes.
So we are encouraging younger persons to come take these loans, these smaller loans, build your credit rating, so that when you reach that point in life where you're ready for a mortgage, you get a very nice mortgage package, small interest rates. Nobody's telling you, well, you know, you've never borrowed before, so we don't know your ability to pay back. You have a good track record of borrowing, a good track record of repayments and stuff like that. And it makes your life in terms of doing business a lot easier. We also have the Christmas Cash Booster loan, and that is up to $178,000. So we recognize that persons come for smaller loans and then they refinance again. So to better financial prudency, and in terms of, we have also done a lot of financial education throughout this year. So to ensure that our membership continues along that path of good financial management, we offer a larger loan. So $178,000, that would cover everything. The Christmas shopping, the children to go out in school in January, if you want to buy a little gift for the young man that is in your life right now. Yeah. So we'll cater for everything that you really want to do and give you a nice package to ensure that you have very small repayments. Yeah, manageable repayments, so you don't defunct on the loans and stuff. So literally, as I said, here at Lambo Credit Union, we are here for you.
Okay. And I must say that it's a good initiative in that, and I know that we hear a lot on social media that back then it wasn't easier back then as compared to now in terms of building, in terms of obtaining land and these type of things, you know, financing our little ones. Everything is just becoming so much expensive, right? So it's good to hear that these initiatives are now being put into place so that we can take part in it as young people to see, you know, our lives go forward. It will be very nice. Yeah. So we have, I know you spoke about the verse competition that we have, right? Verse speaking. There is another competition coming up as well, and that is the spoken word competition. Now, Keegan, you spoke to us about the loans. Now, here is where we can increase that money that Keegan can put into place for us, you know, in Lambo Credit Union, we're looking at the prizes that can be won for this spoken word competition. So, Mr. Caesar, take us through that.
Yeah. So, one of the things we pride ourselves at the Lambo Credit Union is that we push a lot on the education agenda. And so we have the verse speaking for like 28 years. And for the very first time, we are going to do the spoken word competition because we want to target the secondary school. Because I think there's where we want to get our young people more involved and start thinking about saving. And I want to go back a bit. How I joined the Lambo Credit Union is my godfather, who was a member of the board, organized me to join. And every time he would see me, he would give me money. And he would remind me, you have to put some in the credit union.
Okay.
And that is one of the things that we want to encourage our young people to make sure that they start preparing for the future at that particular time. So we have the spoken word competition, our first edition, targeting secondary schools. It's on the 28th of November at the Scarborough Library. And the first prize is $5,000. Second prize, $3,000. And the third prize, $2,000. All right. And it's our first. So we will be looking at how persons participate, what are some of the challenges we face. And then, of course, at Lambo, we always aim for higher. So if we need to increase the prices, we will definitely do that at Lambo Credit Union. One of the things we also encourage is that even if you don't have need for a loan, borrow the loan, as Director Denoon was sharing, because you need to have a relationship. You borrow the loan, you put it on shares, and you have it there saving. You know what I'm saying? Clear it off, build your collateral, because at the end of the day, when you are ready for purchasing land and or your house, you have a collateral there. Yes, we do car loans, but we at Lambo like to build equity for persons. When you own your home, when you own a piece of land, you own a piece of your country.
Yes.
You know, yes, a car is necessary, it's a necessity now, but it's also a liability. So we encourage, most of our strategies is to build the capacity of our person. The credit union was designed for the small man at that in that era when they started, and we want to continue that. And we meet you at your need. That's one of the things that I admire about the credit union. I purchased my land, I built my house through the credit union movement. Didn't have much of a challenge. I remember going to the bank one day to borrow a loan, and coming out of the bank, I had to get tablets for a headache because the amount of requirements and restrictions that you had. Yes, there's some requirements at the credit union, but the kind of family interaction that you have with the credit union and always meeting you at your need. And at Lambo, we are always here for you. So we encourage the teachers and students to come out on the 28th. The registration forms will be going to the schools before the end of the week so that they can register and come out and have fun.
Right, and so I'm getting here that the ages that you're targeting for the spoken word competition is those of the high school.
Yes.
So roughly around 12 to 16, around there. Yeah. Wow. I thought I could have taken part. That 5,000 was looking good. Yeah. Yeah. But how else can we be involved in Lambo Credit Union to experience the loans that you all are offering? I mean, I know it's there are basically promotions in addition to your 78th AGM, right? So how can we be a part of Lambo Credit Union? What documents should we work with if we want to sign up today?
I mean, you just come to the credit union, either in Lambo or in Camby. You have there's a form available. You have 2 forms of ID, recent payslip, also proof of address. If you have a bill in your name, light bill or water rate. If you don't, you get a letter to accompany with the person's ID giving you permission to use that bill. And you come and you sign up and you become a member. Yeah. I am encouraging every young person to become a member of a Lambo Credit Union, or any credit union for that matter of fact, because of the benefits that you can gain by being a member of the credit union. In the credit union, your money is basically working for you. When you are a member of a shareholder, you are investing. and your money is growing. You are seeing the growth in the income that you have placed in the hands of the credit union as compared to the banks. When you place your money in the bank, it goes down based on the fees that they charge. But at the credit union, every year, annually, 3.5%, sometimes 4% on the monies that you would have placed there. So basically, your money is working for you. Okay. So you can decide. And that is why we have we started the process of going back into the schools and having the young persons and they do their small deposits, and so teaching them to save from a younger age, teaching them how to invest, because you recognize that, as the old people say, it's very difficult to bend a tree when it's old and strong, but it's easier to bend it when it's young. Mm-hmm. And to teach younger persons financial management and financial prudency at a younger age, it makes your life a lot better. You make a lot less bad financial decisions as you get older, which would really damage the future that you would have. Additionally, we also have an ongoing PAL loan, because we recognize that young persons want to study. So PAL stands for Professional Academic Advancement Loan. Mm-hmm. So, for those persons who have finished their degrees that get paid for, and they want to go on to do their masters, and they're looking for that opportunity where they can fund this, come to Lambo Credit Union, access our PAL loan. This is an ongoing loan. With this loan, you can have very small repayments over that period of time. Your parents are not going to access the loan on your behalf if you're not working, and have that loan to push you in that direction that you want to go. Because here at Lambo Credit Union, we really are about building human capital, building our membership, because we understand that when you have a driven membership, an educated membership, it makes your credit union that much better.
Yes. Okay, I know we were focusing on a specific age group, and that was the age group of the high schools. Mm-hmm. And of course, the older folks who would want to join, as you said, being younger, getting into that older sphere of life, we would want to prepare to have things done. Yeah, but let's not forget the children. You all have a children's Christmas party coming up.
Yes.
So could you give us some more information on that?
So that is on the 15th of December at the Shaw Park Complex. Registration for members is $150 per child, and if you're a non-member, it's $200 per child. We're also catering for the parents who will be coming, accompanying their children. We have a $60 package for them, where they would be able to be refreshed and enjoy the afternoon while they're there, and we have a space created for them that they can sit and enjoy while they look at the children having fun at the children's party.
Okay, and where can they sign up, or where can they pay?
They can sign up at the both branches, Lambo and in Carnival. The registration forms are online, and the registration is extended to the 31st of October. Sorry. So we encourage persons to do that because we have limited space available. So.
All right. So we have a lot going forward from the Lambo Credit Union in terms of our October to December period there, and going forward on a whole. Yeah. Yes. Again, I'm getting that face from Mr. Caesar here that you are not a part of Lambo Credit Union. You all should see that face. It's coming from this side, right? There's the eyebrow raise and everything. He's giving me the promotions, and he's like, but you're not a part of it as yet because you're not a part of Lambo Credit Union, right? So, I mean, going forward, I think viewers, you should be encouraged to share in the benefits of what you can get from a credit union on a whole, as you said, and more specifically Lambo Credit Union, who is here with us this morning. All right, so I just want to thank you all for being with us here this morning. In terms of going forward for the rest of the day, I know you all have the AGM this morning.
This afternoon. Registration starts at 4:15.
Registration at 4:15
at the Shaw Park Complex. Yeah, so we invite members to come out and participate. It's your democratic right. And of course, I know that everybody's looking forward to dividends, and it is a good one this time. So we are really happy about that. So we look forward to seeing all of you out this afternoon at the complex. We encourage for you to come out and be a part, share your concerns, your ideas, and also that, as of tomorrow, all the members of staff of Tobago Updates will be members of the Lambo Credit Union. And we thank you all for signing up your forms and stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Additionally, our offices will be closed today at 12 p.m. to facilitate our AGM. And I'm encouraging all of you to look us up on Facebook, Instagram, and all that good stuff, you know. Look at our social media handles to be informed and keep in the know as it pertains to the Lambo Credit Union and what we have to offer. Again, as we say, and we are always here for you.
Right, I love the fact that they keep using that tagline. Yeah, so that's the Lambo Credit Union who is always here for you. I'm thanking you all for being here with us this morning. I know I asked you all to do something before we go, but before I ask you to do that, I want to encourage you viewers to stay tuned as we go into Good Morning Tobago with Miss Adana Kombi. Right, we have a lot in store for you in terms of that. I know you all enjoyed your morning show with me, Natalia Nancis, and of course, ending off the show with these exciting folks next to me, Mr. Keegan Dinoon and Mr. Jason Caesar, directors of the Lambo Credit Union, who is always here for you. All right. So before we go, Mr. Jason Caesar and Mr. Keegan Dinoon, please encourage my viewers to
share the live, share the live, share the live.
Thank you. Stay tuned for Good Morning Tobago.
There is a girl, she is wise and wary of flames, but still, she knows she will survive the fire life scorches sometimes. She has been a phoenix before, and every time she burns to ashes, she knows exactly how to rise again. Those powerful words used describes how powerful girls can be throughout life. And recently, the world celebrated International Day of the Girl Child with the theme, Girls' Vision for the Future. And to commemorate this day, some of the island's most empowering women had the opportunity to share their stories and experiences with female students at Scarborough Roman Catholic Primary School.
Today's program, featured especially on the girls, was instrumental. We looked for persons who we thought could encourage, give them that boost of confidence and so forth. I think the selection, it was good, and the students seemed very receptive. I was roving throughout the presentation, so I would have peeped into the different classrooms, and they were quite receptive.
Is that this year's theme is looking at females breaking barriers and just breaking through any glass ceiling. My industry is media and communications, and as I was saying to the young ladies, we have not very many females in some of the portfolios within media and communications, so like the graphic artists and the videographers and the photographers. It's really predominantly males. So it was an opportunity to encourage them to look outside the regular jobs or the regular professions and venture into some unorthodox professions which are really growing and becoming very, very popular in today's society.
Well, as always, being at RSC and participating in their activities, it's always a unique experience, I must say, to be here today to give or to motivate the students, the girls, as it's International Girl Day. It's quite it's an honor to do that, I must say. They were really excited, and that actually increased my excitement. So I am really pleased that the energy was awesome, and I hope that my message was well received.
So today I had to present on deportment to the young ladies. I think that's something that's very important to instill in our young women, showing them how to carry about themselves. It helps to instill confidence, helps them to understand themselves a bit better, to know that I am a woman. When I walk into a room, I need to exude that confidence and show people that I mean business. It was very receptive arrived by both Standard 5 and Standard 4. They enjoyed it thoroughly. The Standard 4 class was really, really receptive. They wanted me to model on my way out, which I did, and you heard all the rockers in the room. And that was such an amazing feeling, just being able to give back to the young people of Tobago as a fellow Tobagoan.
I learned that girls are unique and they're special in their own way. It was very nice. I enjoyed myself. I learned about being each other's keepers. I learned about new jobs, and I learned about photographing, video art and stuff today. I enjoyed these sessions because it was fun, it was very uplifting, and I think it should continue throughout Trinidad and Tobago for the girls in Trinidad and Tobago.
International Day of the Girl Child is celebrated on October 11th annually.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
We're thrilled to announce the Tobago Agri-Tech Innovation Summit 2024. This transformative event taking place from December 2nd to 3rd at the Shore Park Complex will focus on the theme Climate Change, Resilience and Adaptation in Agriculture. As the first of its kind on the island, the summit aims to position Tobago as a leader in agricultural innovation, addressing climate change challenges and showcasing agri-tech solutions that will shape how we grow our food, manage resources, and ensure our sustainable future.
The Tobago Agri-Tech Innovation Summit is about more than introducing technology. It is about creating a mindset shift. We want our farmers to not just survive, but to flourish in a modern, tech-enabled agricultural landscape. This event will provide practical training and workshops for farmers on digital farm management, precision agriculture, and innovative practices.
Was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawning as the passion start to rise. The energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Tobago, and welcome to GMT. Yes, I know you're used to seeing me at 7 a.m., but this morning we're going to switch things up a little bit. I'm hosting our show this morning for Good Morning Tobago, and I want to welcome all of you to our programming this morning. I'm so happy that you have chosen us this morning to make us your #1 morning show here on the island of Tobago. Whether you're viewing us far and wide right here in Tobago, in Trinidad, the Caribbean region, the United States of America, the United Kingdom, wherever you are on this planet, thank you so much for choosing us. We have a wonderful, wonderful show for you this morning, and the conversation, of course, is going to be a beautiful one. But before we begin our conversation this morning, we head on over to the news in 90 seconds. Minister of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, Randall Mitchell, praised the Tobago October Carnival for its significant growth and positive impact on the island's tourism industry. He emphasized the strong economic benefits reported by hoteliers. Mitchell also commented the Carnival's vibrant atmosphere, noting its continuous development and increasing success. Tobago October Carnival Association President Dexter Sandy also praised the event's success, noting smooth travel and happy hoteliers. The 3-day carnival concluded with a grand parade of the bands. The Monarchs of Mass competition, a new event for the Tobago October Carnival, showcased the creativity of Tobago's mass designers, with several designers performing in their own costumes. Presentations included Dwayne White Jr.'s fire-breathing portrayal of the first man and Marcus Devine's skeletal theme, Return of the King. The event featured 8 participants celebrating both traditional carnival elements and Tobago's heritage. Memorable entries included the rebellious Yard Fowl, the Pan Man, and Sea Empress of Coral Coast. The Mighty Moko also impressed by dancing on a single stilt. 4 Trinidadians were sentenced in St. Vincent on October 25th for marijuana-related offences and ordered to pay fines of EC 25,000 each, or serve 1 year in prison. The men, Damian Batiste, Shaquem Bola, Isaiah Phillips, and Jaron Abrahams, were arrested on October 3rd with 240 pounds of marijuana. The 4 men went to St. Vincent to learn marijuana cultivation and stayed for 8 months. The group pleaded guilty with an explanation stating they had met a local man online who invited them to learn how to plant cannabis. And that was your news in 90 seconds. So as I mentioned to you earlier, the conversation this morning is going to be a lovely, lovely conversation as we go through. As you are aware, Tobago just came out of the October Carnival, the 3rd edition of the October Carnival. And of course, so many activities happening here on the island, the week building up to the Carnival and the culmination on Sunday night. And no other fitting persons to talk with this morning about the events, the rollout of the events, the participation, the numbers, the vibe and the energy that you can only experience right here on the island of Tobago. We're going to speak with Councillor Tashia Grace Boris. She is the Secretary in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities, Transportation and Culture, and also Assistant Secretary Niall George in the same division. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Adana.
Good morning, Adana. Good morning, Tobago.
Of course, it is a pleasure speaking with you guys this morning. And I want to start off by saying congratulations.
Thank you so much.
I feel as if Tobago won. Tobago won. I have seen, the growth and the expansion of the carnival over the past, we're in the 3rd year now, and I've seen where we have, when I looked at some footage on social media, right? Let's talk about Juve.
You should have been there.
I mean, the energy, I wasn't there as you mentioned, but the energy was just so electrifying, even on social media. Yes. So I must say congratulations to you. I must say congratulations to all the stakeholders and all the persons who came together to make Tobago October Carnival a success, in my view.
Yes.
Right? I know there are still assessments that have to be made. So let's talk about the success of it. How do you feel in terms of the rollout of all the events that took place for the entire week? The persons that came to Tobago to enjoy, do you believe that they enjoyed a product that they cannot compare to any other?
I think that we have hit on something that is phenomenal for the destination. When we started this process 3 years ago, when the Chief Secretary said we're going to have this carnival in October back in 2022, I did not know where we were going to start in terms of the conceptualization, the planning, the implementation, because this was not going to be a bloco. It's easy to plan a block.
That's right.
We had to create a festival. And how do you encapsulate a little bit of everything that makes Tobago unique into a festival? And especially if that festival is confined to a period of 3 or 4 days or a week. For us, it was a journey in creativity. It was a journey of discovering ourselves, who we are, what we want to showcase to the world, what we want to share with the people who come to Tobago and experience what we have on offer. And I can tell you, for me personally, I did not see year 3 being so big. I actually, in my mind, said, okay, by year 5, people would be on board with the thing. We would market it, and, all of the, the back and forth about whether Tobago should have a carnival or not will die down. And by year 5, we could roll in the big leagues. We could. But I'm seeing in year 3, I'm seeing some established carnival pages publishing Tobago Carnival in October, and I know we reach. So it doesn't feel like, I would borrow a term from Watson. It doesn't feel like the pinky toe, the pinky finger on the pinky. It actually feels as if we do have a place. And that is what I take away, that what we've created in the last 3 years is in the league of other well-established carnivals, and I think Tobago has to take a bow for that.
Absolutely. And you're speaking here and you mentioned that you were thinking maybe by the 5th year we would be in a good place. What do you use to measure the success as to where we are now in comparison to where you thought we might have been in 5 years? What do you use to measure that?
Several things we would look at. So for one, we would look at the amount of visitors who would come to the destination. If it is that the product that we put out in year 1 wasn't a product worthy of consideration, then year 2 we would have seen less numbers, year 3 we would see less numbers. But from all accounts, year 1 we started, year 2 we saw more, year 3 the island sunk. So we are on a trajectory of growth. That is 1. 2, in terms of the stakeholders organizing themselves. In year 1, we didn't have the Tobago October Carnival Association. By year 2, they organized themselves into an association and they became one of our main stakeholders. And that to me augured well for the growth of the industry because there was a changing of the guard. We were used to the Gemmas of Tobago and the Terrence Sandifords of Tobago being the voice of mass, but now we had a young group of people deciding to come together, form this association, pool their resources, support one another, and create this body that will represent their interests and discuss with the government how we can invest in their growth. That to me was an excellent and positive sign. Thirdly, when you look at the quality of the events that have become part of the Tobago calendar of activities, you realize that our promoters, every year they're taking feedback from their customers, they're taking feedback from the people who have come and enjoyed their activities every year. We've had some new promoters come in this space because they've seen an opportunity to bring up a unique product to the fore. And year 1, we had a challenge. We had so many fetes. So some people scored and some people didn't score. But from all accounts, all of the fetes that we had this year were very well subscribed to. That also tells me that there is growth. And fourthly, the demand. So for all the people who didn't get here, all of the complaints we heard about people who could not get to Tobago, Cal took a beating in the days prior. Because, really we've been seeing the demand from very, very early. People from the diaspora, our international visitors were saying, look, I can get to Trinidad, but I can't get to Tobago. There's nothing available, which means that those first set of flights that went out were sold out very quickly. So that when you hear that people are complaining that what you have, they cannot get access to me, those 4 things definitely show that Tobago October Carnival is right up there with some of the best.
And you're absolutely correct, because now it is a product that people are desiring and they are making a high demand on. And talking about that product, what do you think makes Tobago October Carnival stand out? Because we know that, they call Trinidad the Mecca of Carnival. Okay, now we have Tobago October Carnival attracting so many people, wanting to get here, desperately wanting to get on the island to participate in all the activities. I know some people who try to go to every single fete, every single engagement, every single thing that was happening on the island. What makes the Tobago October Carnival stand out that makes it unique to Tobago only?
Well, I think Assistant Assemblyman George has a good idea of what stands out to him. I know that in my mind, you see the idea of people coming to Tobago and being adopted. I love the fact that our visitors feel as if Tobago can be their second home after they've experienced what we put out for Tobago October Carnival. But I think Assemblyman George may have a different idea to me.
No, it's pretty much that. It's the warmth of the island, it's the friendliness of the people. It's a small island, so they get a different cultural experience. In terms of our food, everyone knows about Tobagoan food. We have the crab and dumpling, and even in the all-inclusives, there was this sense of Tobago-ness that's different from Trinidad, So it's just the whole package. You could leave the carnival, you could go to a Pigeon Point, you could have a bath, and just the friendliness of the island. So it's an entire package. It's not just about carnival, it's a vacation and a carnival.
Yes. Absolutely. And I totally agree with that, because we have something that is so unique. Outside of carnival, we boast about our tourism and our tourist attractions. So of course those things will want somebody to have to say, why do I have to go back? I want to stay. I want to stay and enjoy all that they have here on the island of Tobago. Now we spoke about Cal extensively. the challenges that we had with Carl and, the conversations that had to happen to make it happen. And you could say that they got here. The people who wanted to get here, there might have been people who were left behind, but in terms of the people that were actually able to get here, are you satisfied with the conversation? Are you satisfied with the action that was taken to put flights on? Was it done in sufficient time? What would you say? How would you assess that arrangement?
I'm trying to be very nice this morning, right? I will not bash Carl. I can tell you that it is not as simple for Carl to simply put on flights. They have to service a number of other destinations. And even though we have ATRs that are servicing the domestic route, my understanding was for every international flight that they had, they put on a Tobago leg to get people from Trinidad to Tobago. But when you have considerations of plane and flight and crew and all of these restrictions, because you can't play in the aviation industry. It's not so simple as them dropping planes out of the sky and landing them in Tobago. For all intents and purposes, I think that the communication could have been better in terms of when they put on additional flights, because I felt as if the additional flights kind of dropped like a thief in the night, and only those who were lucky to know, were able to book. And when you have international visitors who want to come in, who are able to book their ticket months in advance to get to Trinidad, but they cannot get to Tobago. They can't be mining Caribbean Airlines website to see if a seat pop up or 2 seats pop up. They must be able to know, well, okay, we are expecting some additional flights to go in the system by this day, so they know on that day they check. Or if it is that we don't have additional flights in the system, then they can make alternate arrangements. But the reality is that I would want to commend them, because my understanding is that they tried their best to take as many persons on standby who showed up to the airport. From all intents and purposes, I understand that persons who were booked to travel did show up to travel. So I do commend the efforts that they took in the last minute to try and see how many people they could get to Tobago. But my major kudos will always be for the Port Authority. The Port Authority,
of course, I sent some bias there.
Not only being dear to my heart, my port family, but, the port is really the place that moves the bulk of the traffic to Tobago. They are taking boats that could take hundreds of persons in one go, and they put on their schedule. They advertised when they put on their schedule. They looked at the sales. The tickets sold out. They went back and said, let's see if we could put on additional sailings. They came back and said, we're putting on additional sailings. So at every step of the way, they communicated their intent. And I really must commend them. I know the staff there works hard, because moving volumes of people in the hundreds is not easy, but they were able to do it without incident. I passed by the port this morning. It looked very clear. So it's telling me that all of the movements are happening in the way that they should, so that people came, they enjoyed themselves, and they're able to go back home when they need to.
Absolutely, absolutely amazing. Right. We're talking, as you were talking there about Carl, you mentioned, and I think it's something that the average person, we don't really think about. In all fairness to Carl, you're talking about aviation space, that you rightfully can't just say, let me put on 10 flights, because the airspace, you have to have some type of communication with other users of the airspace. And I'm thinking that the conversation needs to happen either earlier, or planning for that aspect in terms of how do you determine when is the conversation going to start to happen with Carl in terms of, listen, October Carnival is coming again next year. It's not a surprise. Well, let's start planning.
So they are a sponsor, so they should know. But outside of that, and I said this last year, I said, I don't know if it's a situation where Tobago has to make a business case for flights in general. And this is not just about a carnival. There are people right now who are on standby to come up from Trinidad. So you would think that all of the traffic is going one way, and that there should be no issue with somebody who's leaving Trinidad to come to Tobago. And that speaks to a bigger issue. The fact that people on a regular day cannot book a ticket confirmed to go and confirmed to come back when they want to. And on either legs of those journeys, they may have to try standby. It is telling us here in Tobago that clearly there is a demand for the seats on the air bridge. Clearly there's a demand for persons to travel to the destination, whether you're coming for leisure, whether you're coming for work, whether you want to run away from work, whether you want to hide from the ornament, whatever it is you want to do, there is a demand. And if there's a demand and the business case is there, that they're seeing people showing up, then I don't think there's anything else the THA can say to Cal to prove that we need the seats. So I hope that with this October Carnival, we have made a very solid case to show them, look, we need back our seats. We need to go back to the amount of flights we had pre-COVID, because that is what we need to sustain our tourism product year round. When it comes to our peak times, July, August, October, Heritage Time, National Carnival in February for cool down, Easter time, those times when the demand is even more, you see what the historical data says. So then let's just do what we have to do.
And I totally agree there, of course, ensuring that all the stakeholders, because Cal has to identify themselves as a stakeholder, as a partner in, not, as you said, not just October Carnival, but with Tobago and all the activities that we have here on the island. There are people wanting to travel between both islands, and Cal is very, very integral. So Cal, I hope you are listening this morning. We thank you so much for all that you've done for us for the October Carnival, and we hope for continued conversations and support as we ensure that people can get to and from Tobago. We have to go for a short break, but we will continue with conversations about the Tobago October Carnival, the successes, the areas for improvement, and of course, the benefits that were reaped by all here on the island of Tobago. Do stay with us, and when we come back, we'll continue those conversations.
So wake up and hear me neighbor.
UX and Standard Listen. The TGIS sale is back, up to 75% off store-wide. Washers from $1,249. Stoves from $1,299. Fridges from $1,999. Patio set from $1,999 and up to 35% off Samsung and LG TVs. Plus a daily magic hour with even more savings. Follow Standards on social media for the inside scoop. October 25th to the 30th only.
When the game is on, you don't want to miss the best moments. With Amplia TV, you can enjoy our ultimate sports package and watch your favorite games on the go. Stay connected and informed with sports news, scores, and stats with Amplia's fastest internet speeds. Up to 1 GB fiber internet, you can stream riveting football action, cricket, NBA games, and much more. With Amplia, it's game on. Visit amplia.co.tt or call 800-4663. Amplia. Do more, live more.
Tobago Carnival is just around the corner, and Bethel Credit Union has you covered. Whether you're prepping for costumes, parties, giveaways, or a staycation, it's all within your reach with our Carnival loan sale. For as little as $900 a month, yes, $900 a month, you can get the funds you need to make this Carnival season unforgettable. At Bethel Credit Union, we're here to make your celebration dreams a reality. Visit us today or call 639-8226 for more information. Normal lending criteria applies, because we see you at BCU.
Are you an architect or draftsman looking to upgrade your skills, or a beginner eager to master essential tools? ReCAD Labs has the solution. Our Revit Architecture Fundamental Tobago course is designed to boost your skills and confidence. Running from October 6th to November 17th, this course includes a live session on November 17th for hands-on learning. Learn from experts in our virtual classroom and stay ahead in the world of architecture. Visit recadlabs.com to enroll now and follow us on social media for updates.
It's a brand new morning.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us here on Good Morning Tobago. Of course, it's a good morning. It's a Tuesday morning here on the island of Tobago, and we're still recuperating from all the activities that happened over the past weekend here on the island for our October Carnival, the 3rd edition of Tobago October Carnival. And of course, I want to switch gears a little bit this morning as we continue the conversation. It was a big carnival. We saw the numbers. We spoke about the amount of people that came to the island and who participated in the different activities that we had building up and culminating on Sunday. And, we're talking about the benefits here to the people on the island of Tobago. Let's talk about the business community. What have they been saying? Have you heard anything from them talking about what the increases over the past years or anything like that?
Well, before the carnival, that would be Friday, the festival itself, you would have heard hoteliers talking about rooms almost to full occupancy. And with these numbers coming to the island, most naturally they would have to be fed, they'd have to be transported, and that would just redound to every business person on the island, down to the peddlers selling water. You'd have the persons that are running a taxi. So we know that over this weekend, we would have economic growth on steroids.
Absolutely. And, I can't wait to get the data, when that comes in to see where we are in comparison to last year and the previous year, because I saw the numbers, so I'm expecting that, of course, there would be a big increase, and I'm hoping that, we can continue this trajectory that we're going in here, and we could really I don't even have to think that we could really, because we have already established who we are, and there were lots of naysayers in the space thinking that we probably will not make it, and we have been able to do it. Not only have we been able to have a good time in terms of reveling and people having a good time on the streets, but we saw people, as you mentioned, Assistant Secretary, the business community, even the peddler.
Yes. And I want to interject here by saying, I saw an article maybe about last week, an editorial, and someone was knocking the fact that the THA, our budget for the carnival was less this year. And from year one, I said, look, every year we're going to be spending less as a THA because we feel that this is a product that should not belong to government 100%, that we should see the investments of the private sector coming on board to assist with execution of the festival. And I can say that even with us reducing the budget a 3rd year in a row, that we can see the economic gains that redound to the economy of Tobago as a whole based on the investments of the THA and the investment of our corporate sector. And it's not that the THA wants private sector to hand us a check. We don't want private sector to hand us a check. We want people to be able to invest in the product of the carnival, sponsoring of the bands, making sure that you assist us in marketing. Everybody has a social media page. Are you having sales for the carnival? Are you doing packages in your hotel? Are you telling people stay 5 nights, get a 3rd night, get a 4th night 50% off? Or if you rent a car for 5 days, you get the last day free. Those are the things that will encourage people to stay longer. One of the things that I've also heard is that people find that to come to Carnival in Tobago is cheaper than other carnivals. And that is something that is attractive to persons, because Carnival is a very expensive endeavor, especially if you're a Carnival baby. And I've heard the comparisons being made. I think that people feel that if you spend less on a product, that the quality is affected. But I think that we have demonstrated that even though we have managed our budget, and I'm pretty certain we're going to come in less than what we allocated again, because I am all for prudent management of the resources we have, because it's not just a carnival, we have many other things throughout the rest of the year. But it shows that the quality and standard did not drop.
Absolutely. And we're talking about stakeholder involvement and partnership and external sponsors in terms of the corporate. What was it like this year, Assemblyman, in terms of these stakeholders, corporate Tobago, even Trinidad, investors coming in and saying, listen, I want to be a part of this looking good. What was it like this year, and what are your expectations or hopes in terms of the response this year for next year?
Well, based on the success this year, everyone wants to be a part of something that's successful. So we expect even more sponsorship and cooperation from the stakeholders next year. One thing that I would like to go back a bit, right? One thing that I noticed this year in the Carnival festivities is that Tobago has a huge Juve culture. And when it comes to conventional mass, Tobagonians are lukewarm about it. But I have seen that the locals are warming to the conventional mass. The participation in terms of local has improved drastically. And that says that Tobagonians are feeling more involved, are owning the festival. And that's the idea. It's Tobago Carnival. It's being facilitated by the THA, but it's about each and everyone grasping, holding on to it and becoming a part and feeding it, nurturing it so that it will continue to grow.
And the Monarch of Mass, that was this year was the first year for that one. Do you, as you were talking about the Tobagonians not being too much into the pretty mass, do you think that kind of helped because that kind of gave them a space, to say, listen, we could do more than Juve, more than mud? Do you think that provided that kind of space for them to open their eyes and say, listen, we could do pretty mass too?
Well, it's about growing the creative sector as well. And if you have to grow something, you have to create a platform for them to flourish. And with this competition, you then challenge them to improve the arts. So I'm just saying that it's about the platform, and that's what we are here for, to facilitate the growth of the carnival.
Absolutely. Something that, I really appreciated in this carnival season, as I mentioned, I'm not a carnival girl. In fact, I'm a churchgoer. But what I really appreciated in this carnival season is honoring our icons.
Yes.
And, I want to talk a little bit about that, because it was so heartwarming to see that we could celebrate them while they are still here. I mean, I know although Shadow is gone, but we're still honoring them. Tell us, what was the idea, the genesis behind let us do it at this particular point in time?
Well, the genesis is that she's alive. and this administration, if you look at the part that we are taking, we try to honor our icons while they are alive. Yes. Yesterday afternoon, we had an interview with Rose, and it's so heartwarming to see Calypso Rosie. She was in an element. She was so happy. She was giving us a piece of her life, her struggle to get to where she's at, and how she has maintained it. And I would like to say that Calypso Rose may be feeling in the physical, she may be declining in the physical, but that voice, when you hear that voice, you think Carnival, you think it's so powerful, such a true representation of the power of a Tobagonian, and I'm saying we will continue to honor our icons while they are alive. You see the joy in their faces of being recognized, of being around their peers. I mean, she was so happy to speak to Shadow's son, Shalon Bailey, who was there as well to receive the award on his behalf, and we will continue to honor them while they are alive.
Yeah. And I must applaud this administration, and I must applaud your office for thinking that we should do this now, that now is the right time to do it. Yeah. And even in the season that we are in, although all of them aren't necessarily cultural in terms of carnival, they were still able to participate in this event and to know that they are appreciated, because to tell somebody, oh, I appreciate you, sometimes it just isn't enough. Yes. So to have that, in that open space where everybody can come and give them their love, give them their roses while they're alive. I must commend you for that.
I would want to particularly single out Secretary Trevor James of the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development. He actually brought the idea to us. I mean, we had already planned to honor our cultural icons from the level of the Division of Tourism. But if you notice the other icons, Bertil Sinclair, Alan Richards, Embahu Mohini, the Moran family, James A.A. Bigat, Secretary James is big on the history of Tobago and ensuring that the people of Tobago understand where we come from, that we can drive around. And I think Shalon Bailey, he encapsulated it perfectly, that we must walk the road, and the road must be representative of the people who walked before. And that is why it's so important that people must be able to look up at a street sign and know that the name up there is somebody significant who has contributed significantly to the fabric of our Tobago society, and that we are recognizing their contributions. So those icons that we honored, and fittingly during the carnival season, because I think in particular, especially the renaming of a main part of our route to the Calypso Rose Boulevard, I think that added a little extra spice and oomph to the parade, and I know that people enjoyed it. I mean, it was such a glorious time, and I think from the time we started like that, and then we just kind of rolled into the rest of the weekend, it set the stage for what turned out to be a I don't even have adjectives anymore to describe this weekend. It really was phenomenal.
It was. And you know what, while you were speaking there, I'm thinking, is it possible for us to have a conversation that takes it further than honoring them and renaming the streets and renaming the roundabout? Let's take this into the schools, because I'm sitting here thinking, we have the education, our generation of people, we know who these people are, we know what they have done. But let's think about our children. Do they know who Calypso Rose is? Do they know who these people are? Can we bring this into the schools? Can we have a caravan in schools that can roll out the information on these people, celebrate them in the school system?
So I think...
the Secretary of Education, Secretary Hackett, is very big on the Tobago curriculum. And that is being developed as we speak. And I think that would take care of pretty much take care of what you're speaking about. So it's in the plans, it's in the works, and we intend to roll that out.
I think it is very, very important, because sometimes you have conversations with the younger ones and it's like, who are you speaking about? You know, so let us preserve our culture, preserve what is ours here on the island of Tobago, and keep our conversations really and truly Tobago-centric, because I want, you know, the young ones who are coming up to be as proud as we are. Come the next 10, 15, 20 years, they must be having the same types of conversations. And talking about how they can preserve the legacy and how they can have the conversations with their children as they are coming up. You know, I'm just so happy. I really am just so happy, and I'm so excited, you know, for where we can take things when we really come together as a Tobago. Forget about the other things, the outside noise, and just focus on who we are as Tobago to develop where we are on the island.
And that is where it has to go. I mean, as Assemblyman George said, it is our carnival. So that I listened to some of the commentary. I don't like to say naysayers, but I've listened to some of the commentary. And I don't know, they probably have some hurt people out there. But, you know, people talk about, is the Trinidadians build the carnival and there is a Trini-style carnival in Tobago. I'm not having that argument. Yes, Trinidadians will be the largest audience because they are right next door. It's only natural. And Trinidadians and Tobagonians love a good party. And if this is a good party, we will be there. But I can tell you, walking around the street, and I think Assemblyman George will back me up on this, I have never seen so many diaspora Tobagonians in Tobago all at the same time. People from year one, there were some people who came year one, they check it out, they say, but now October has become peak travel season for persons from the diaspora to come back home. So it feels like a family reunion.
And to add to this is that we have an example from the National Carnival. And if there is something good, we take from it. We also have to refine our product and maintain our Tobago-ness in our carnival. So any carnival in the world, there'll be a party. That's part of what it's about. And Trinidad knows how to party. We can't argue they are probably the best party island in the world. So if we can take aspects of that to improve our carnival, why not? We take what's good, we cut out what's not, and we grow.
Exactly. As one of my mentors says, you eat the meat and leave the bone. Right? You know? And you know, of course, that is the right approach, because if you are trying to model something that is working, take what will work in your space, which is what you have done. Again, I have to commend you, which is what you have done. And we have made Tobago a beautiful space in this October period. And I'm looking forward to, as I said, the data that will come after you sit. I know you have to sit with your members to determine numbers, you know, stuff like that. So we're waiting to see what would happen there. I want to talk about a few things when we come back from the break, right? So viewers, you have to stay with us. We're going to continue the conversation this morning as we talk about October Carnival here on the island of Tobago, the projections, what we're looking for next year, and how we're going to make the thing. Can we even make it better than it was this year? Perhaps we can. You never know. We can always pull a rabbit out of a hat here on the island of Tobago. So stay with us as we continue GMT this morning.
60,000 people strong.
You Relaxed and standard listened. The TGIS sale is back, up to 75% off store-wide. Washers from $1,249. Stoves from $1,299. Fridges from $1,999. Patio set from $1,999. And up to 35% off Samsung and LG TVs. Plus a daily magic hour with even more savings. Follow standards on social media for the inside scoop. October 25th to the 30th only.
Attention members, now is your chance to double or even triple your dividend payment with no increase in your existing loan payment. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to boost your dividends effectively. Whether you're planning a vacation or simply looking to maximize your savings, we've got you covered. Call us today at 639-8226 or 631-1336. Message us on Facebook for more information. Hurry, this offer won't last long. Bethel Credit Union, because we see you at BCU.
Tobago Glass Supplies has been a leading name for over 37 years in the glass and aluminum market in Tobago. We provide an extensive range of high-quality, innovative aluminum and glass products for commercial and residential use. Competitive prices with superior and professional services by committed employees who are guided by rigid quality standards. Tobago Glass Supplies specializes in the manufacture and installation of glass and aluminum products that are essential to today's homeowners and the business environment. We are engaged in marketing, sales, and installation of a variety of products. These ranges from windows and doors to necessities such as mirrors for homes and vehicles, designed and manufactured in-house or imported.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. The conversation continues. If you've just joined us, we're talking about October Carnival 2024, and I know some of you are still living in the whole nostalgia and euphoria of all that took place. While I was in church, I saw all of you, and I'm happy that you had a good time. Did you pray for us? I certainly did, and I'm thinking that Tobago won, and that is the one thing I'm really, really happy about, the numbers that I saw, the involvement. And we're talking about all the good things that happened for Carnival 2024, but we can't talk about the good without looking at, is there room for improvement? What are some of the loopholes that we might have seen? I know this is the third year, so after the first year we would have made assessments, the second year we would have made assessments, and now we're here, the third year, bigger and better than we were when we just started. Because as you mentioned earlier, you weren't sure where we were going to go with this, but here we are, right? And we have to make the assessments. From your point of view, from where you are sitting, what have you seen that you think maybe we could have a greater conversation here? We could involve more persons in the conversations. We could tweak this. We could probably add this, probably take this out. What are you thinking about how we could move forward?
So I'd like to start there. What I've noticed is the actual weekend of the Carnival, everyone tries to push or the promoters try to push their effect into that weekend. And I'm saying we can extend the Carnival season by having some of those events earlier. You know, Tobago Carnival it's become a brand. It's pretty much marketing itself. And if we could get some of them to buy into having the events earlier, we could help. Once we have the calendar early enough, we as an administration could support them in terms of marketing these events. That way, naturally, we have visitors on our weekend. So you don't have to worry about the numbers in terms of persons attending your event, because even outside of the Carnival period, you go to Trinidad and try to get to Tobago from as early as Wednesday afternoon, Thursday, and you would definitely have to be on standby. So there would be persons on the island, naturally, even outside of the Carnival, and that way we could extend the Carnival season. Maybe we could get persons to come here even earlier, because as Secretary Boris said before, what you would pay to stay in Tobago for probably a week, it's probably what you'd have to pay to stay in Trinidad during the Carnival season. So we can extend this, have a vacation while you're carnivaling.
Yeah.
So that's a conversation that I would like to have with the promoters as early as possible so that we could start working on that.
Yeah. Tobago October Carnival actually provides an excellent platform for the growth of our tourism sector on a whole. Because when I already saw that for 2025, there are 9 long weekends. So you know we like to plan in advance. And, you know, if we really are able to get them on board with the concept of all of us supporting each other, there is a possibility that we can spread signature events throughout the year so that every long weekend there is some activity that is leading us into the climax in October. Nothing stops a signature event from happening in Easter. Nothing stops a signature event from happening in May for the long weekend, or June for the long weekend, or July, August. And it gives an opportunity for people to have an excuse to keep coming to Tobago until they come back in October to have the climax. For me, in terms of areas of improvement, I am big on the traditional mass. The traditional mass parade is actually very near and dear to my heart. And having played on the road for the first time this year, I've never played mass in my life, but I played with Happy Lost Sailors this year on the invitation of Miss Dani Jove and EC Fashions. And there are my
There you are.
And now having the perspective of a masquerader, I can tell you that we really have something great with our traditional mass and the creativity that comes out using our traditional stories. And I would want us to lean towards a policy direction that really invests in the growth of the traditional mass, because we have some people in this space. There's a market for every type of thing. And there's a market of people who want more conservative type mass, you know, not knocking the bikini beads and the feathers and the wire bra and stuff. I mean, if your body looking good, I guess you could get away with that. But when you're getting down in age, you know, you're worried about, you know, certain things being covered and looking very modest and that kind of thing. And I think that our traditional mass presents the opportunity for us to evolve the product away, not necessarily away from bikini and beads, but showing that bikini and beads can be just as good alongside our traditional costumes. Because I can tell you, seeing Mariah on the streets, they have been there from day one. They're coming out in their full can in this hot sun, and they've danced in this brushback, and I love the fact that the imagery of our carnival is not just bikini beads and feathers, but you're seeing the traditional elements being woven in between. Muku jumbies, they are so graceful, and there is opportunity for us to build capacity in those areas, so that for us, in terms of evolving the product, we will be paying specific attention to growing those traditional elements and ensuring that their presence on the road is just as large as the contemporary bands.
I think two very very good conversations to have, and I want to go back to what you said, Assistant Secretary, talking about extending the carnival season. And just recently, I think it was this morning, we saw 4-day carnival. Let's talk about 4-day carnival. Let's talk about that.
Listen, you know, the stakeholders are, and the persons who came giving their feedback, they're happy. And they're telling themselves, look, we could do this for 4 days. And it's something that, based on the feedback, that we would naturally consider. Because if it is that the people are asking for something, we just have to sit back and have the conversation, but it's not up to us. We have to talk to our stakeholders, and not just the carnival stakeholders, but you're talking about impacts on the work of the Tobago House of Assembly, what that would mean for our education system, what that would mean in terms of the resources that we have, for example, national security apparatus, our hospitals. All of these people need to be part of the conversation. So yes, it's easy to ask for it, and they did ask me the question about it, and I said, yes, it's something that we can consider, but certainly not in isolation of having the conversation with all the people that will be impacted by such a decision. But the carnival was proclaimed for 4 days this year. So the proclamation actually started from Friday morning, 12 a.m. and it ended last night at 11:59 p.m. And that was to give the businesses the opportunity to take advantage of the proclaimed period, the bars that would pop up, you know, things like that, for people to have cool down parties or pre-parties. And that was an economic decision. But in terms of actually shutting down the island of Tobago for 4 days for the carnival, it's not up to us, but we will certainly have the conversation.
And you know, while you're talking about the conversation about the 4-day Carnival, all the things that happened around Carnival, the beauty of Carnival, the success that we enjoyed this year. In terms of the other cultural festivities on the island of Tobago, what are your hopes, your expectations? You know, how are you feeling in terms of advancing our cultural festivals here on the island, in terms of getting people to come, getting our own Tobagonians to embrace even more and to be a product that is just like our October Carnival?
Well, if you looked at Blue Food this year, you could see that we are definitely moving in the right direction. And I am saying to Tobagonians, if you have ever been to any large-scale event, there will be transportation and logistics problems. We know that we are a small island and we aren't accustomed to such things, but we need to understand that, and I'll use Blue Food as an example. We got a lot of complaints about people trying to get out of Bloody Bay. But we need to understand that people were coming into Bloody Bay steadily from 10 a.m. The event is now done and everyone is trying to get out.
At the same time.
At the same time. We had parking problems at the Bloody Bay Junction, and some of the, I'll be truthful, some of the maxi operators left before, so we didn't have a full fleet to get people out. So that's something that we have to work on in terms of the division. As I said, I'm not going to speak about the good alone, I'm going to speak about the bad and how we intend to address these things. But with increased traffic flow, there would be increased problems, and it's not easy to control these things at times. You plan, but it doesn't always go exactly as you plan. So we are asking persons out there to be more understanding of what is taking place. And with this growth, there will be challenges. There will be problems. And that's why I take the approach of the third year in the Carnival. I mean, look at Trinidad Carnival. Look at the number of years, and they still experience huge problems, huge challenges. So it's just about learning each year and working on ways to improve the product.
Yes. To add to that, I would say that, you know, as much as we have challenges, I always look for the opportunities in the chaos. So that we know that thousands of people are going to come. They're going to need services, they need transportation. There's an opportunity for people to invest in either. I mean, I was telling somebody, if you didn't make money this weekend, it's because you didn't want to make money. Because this weekend was an opportunity to make money. So if you had a car, I mean, maybe we need to invest in some technology. Maybe Tobago needs to develop their own Uber or their own Lyft, because there are people coming from other destinations who are used to having access to things like that. And there are apps around that can make it happen. So we need to be able to collaborate with one another. We have to be able to see the opportunities that present themselves to get into business. I saw people selling drinks on the side of the road. I saw people selling water. I saw ladies selling handkerchiefs, bandanas. I saw them selling cups with the straws. I saw commerce taking place, so that there is a market for every possible thing in the midst of even looking at some crisis or some chaos that is taking place. What it also indicates to us is that this growth will redound to the growth of the business sector in general, because what events tourism does for the island is consistently ensure that we are ballooning our population temporarily for a period. So if you're talking about Tobago having a population of, say, between 63 and 65,000 people on any given normal day, but then we're adding another 30,000 people on top of that for a short period of time, all of these people shopping in the same grocery we shopping in, and it's month end, we get paid early. So, if you get what I'm saying, I'm pretty certain that these supermarkets did very brisk business over the weekend. And when you look at the economic benefits that come from simply temporarily ballooning our population for a period of time, all of this money is circulating within the Tobago economy, so that we have to, again, as I say, look at the opportunities. Look at the Esplanade. They put up the rides for people. They put up tents. That a whole sea just crew that put up a deck for themselves, and they were liming all weekend. There is opportunity everywhere, and we would want that we would look at every type of activity or festival on the island, whether it be a national carnival where everybody's coming for cool down. How are we creating things that people want to enjoy during that period? When we're looking at end of March for that long weekend, Shouter Baptist, what are we doing? What are we doing for Easter? There's an opportunity there. We no longer have the Tobago Jazz experience in its previous incarnation, but there's an opportunity for some promoter to come in and create something for that space that the THA can step in and support. You have all these long weekends taking place throughout the year. You have your Heritage Festival, July, August. There is so much opportunity. And I just want people of Tobago to know that we will invest in our people first. So get together, create your businesses, put your plans on paper, present your proposals. Let's look at it. Let's see how we can invest, and let's see how we could balloon our events tourism industry to be a year-round sector so that it provides the fillip that we need to steer tourism in the right direction.
Absolutely, absolutely amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we've been speaking with Councillor Tashia Grace Boris, Secretary in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation, and also Assistant Secretary, Assemblyman Niall George. We're talking all things Carnival, culture on the island of Tobago, empowering Tobago people, investing in our own, as you heard Councillor just saying that we will invest in our people here on the island. The opportunities are endless. So let's have the conversations, be a part of the conversation, make yourself available and grasp at all the opportunities. In closing, is there anything you want to share with our viewers?
Well, I'd definitely like to take this opportunity to thank all the stakeholders of the Carnival, because as I said, this is Tobago Carnival. I mean, our administrator, Mr. Skeet, the staff of the division, the companies within the division, Tobago Festival Commission, the newly minted CEO, Kern Kawai, who has stepped in gracefully and has run with the mandate, Toka, Panchinbago, Tuku, all the stakeholders within the space, and last but not least, the population of Tobago, because without you all, there would be no Carnival. You all will know your best behavior, the security apparatus, the public health, fire service, all the protective services who did a wonderful job. I harped about safety, and we had a safe Carnival, and that's something that is always going to be inviting. Knowing that you could go to Carnival festivities and have clean fun. So I'm saying to the stakeholders, we are the face. We would be the ones, when I was walking around, people would be tapping me and saying congratulations, but that congratulation goes out each and every one that was instrumental in having this Carnival festivities and this Carnival season.
Oh, that is so heartwarming.
And what I would say is thank you to our visitors, wherever you came from. Whether you visited from Charlottesville and you came into town, you visited from Crown Point and you came into town, you visited from Trinidad, you came from the rest of the Caribbean, you came from South America. I think I saw a reel with some Lithuanians who were in the mass as far as Europe. You came from the UK, the United States. All of our visitors created a melting pot on the road. And we could not ask for a better group of people to revel in paradise with. And I want to give some special mention to the service providers who had to work during the Carnival. The hardest time to work is during the Carnival. So I have to give shouts out to the media people. I have to give shouts out to our protective services, the police officers, fire service, the Coast Guard, the Defense Force, TEMA. Huge congratulations to TEMA. They always show up every time something is happening in Tobago. The cleanup crews.
Wow, let's talk about the cleanup crews.
The cleanup crews. I can't leave the interview without talking about our Mr. Drysdale. I have to say his name and his team, URP, CPEP. They kept the streets of Scarborough pristine. They've cleaned the highway. I mean, it is hard to work when you are in the middle of a party. But I saw a video of some of them dancing while they were cleaning, and that's the spirit. That's all we want, to show the world the best of what Tobago has to offer. So even in the midst of providing a service, even in the midst of doing the road management and the marshals and the people who are serving the drinks, the people who are working in the bars, the people who are cleaning the streets, everybody had a Tobago smile on their face and spread Tobago love. And that is what stayed with me, what will stay with me. Tobago take a bow. You put on a great show, and our visitors have memories that they will take with them for the rest of their lives. And I know they're bringing back their friends and their family next year.
That's right. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a wrap for Carnival, October Carnival here in Tobago 2024. But it's certainly not a wrap for our culture, for our festivities on the island, and for our tourism. We are getting there step by step, inch by inch. And let me tell you something, Tobago will remain on the lips of everyone far and wide as you make here your destination for your next vacation, or to participate in any of the activities we have here on the island. We hope to see you soon. Thank you so much for staying with us. This is where we end Good Morning Tobago here on Tobago Updates Television. We thank you so much for being with us even till the very end. Do have a wonderful, wonderful day.
It's a brand new morning, rise up to a brand new dawn.